because sometimes people will tell you on the surface that, oh yeah, I agree with you. They'll verbally agree or they'll indicate that they understand. But that's different to like it really hitting home with them.
You'll float an idea to your boss 10 times and in a subtle way, and in 6 months' time they'll be like, I've got an idea, and they'll say your exact idea back to you. And it's like,
that's never happened before. So I say to marketers, when we're talking to people, understand we're dealing with a belief structure. If it's a mature person, decades, this has been decades building.
I can help you and influence you and assist you, but if you're going to sit there and eat Maccas every morning, not get off the couch, and then blame me as to why you're gaining weight, then I'm not going to stick around. That's your fault.
We need reassurance as marketers that we do have skills and we do have expertise, because the business world will gaslight us.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Push Podcast. My name's Jack Ferguson, an experienced brand strategist with a science background. I've worked in marketing for 15 years, have held numerous internal senior roles spanning national and international brands, and now I work as a consultant. In my career, I've worked across 25 industries and helped increase client and employer revenue by over $40 million. I will be your host. This season of the podcast is essential listening for marketers looking to better sell their strategies to stakeholders. I'll host senior marketers who will share stories, analogies, and mental models that help explain complex concepts to non-marketers, get client buy-in, and keep internal teams engaged. Whether you're in-house, agency side, or a consultant, I aim to equip senior marketers like you with tools to speak up, lead with confidence, and persuade others of your strategy's effectiveness. Thanks for being here, and don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Hello and welcome to episode 27, season 3 of the Push Podcast. Today we are discussing managing up. Yes, marketing to your boss, that old chestnut, which is always a fun job for us marketers, isn't it? We're going to discuss what's actually going on though when your boss disagrees with you, and it can be more than meets the eye. We're going to discuss how I fruitlessly tried to expand a CFO's view of marketing beyond PPC, a lesson from Trevor Noah in understanding your boss, strategies for bridging the gap between your marketing expertise and your boss's belief system, several points of view on how to influence your boss, when your boss's belief system is too deeply entrenched, the reality of changing belief structures, how to do it, and your likelihood of success. In this episode, Alex Urquhart is my co-host. If you're unfamiliar with Alex, he's a product marketing specialist who specializes in B2B SaaS. Find links to our online presence in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening on. Let's bring in Alex. Hello, Alex. How you doing, my friend?
Jack, good. Ready for another episode?
Good to talk to you again. I say that the start of every episode, don't I? It's so boring every time. Sorry, listeners. It's like, good to talk to you again, mate. Yeah. Good to talk to you again. You don't need to hear that, do you?
It's like an AM.
Repeat.
Yeah.
Let's mix it up a bit.
Okay.
It's not good to talk to you again.
Awesome.
Always calling me out.
Yeah.
Always telling me I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
But today, what are we going to talk about? So we're going to talk about managing up, because it's a challenge that a lot of marketers have, and probably managing up specifically in the context of being an internal marketer who has to talk to a boss and get stakeholders over the line with certain things. I want to base this episode around a specific story, something that I experienced recently, and give people why I think this is so hard and what is actually going on and maybe what you can do about it, because sometimes we miss, I think, what's actually going on, and it can be deceiving because sometimes people, and I'll give you an example, will tell you on the surface that, oh yeah, I agree with you. They'll verbally agree or they'll indicate that they understand. But the problem can be, but that's different to like it really hitting home with them. It can be lip service. And then they revert back to what they were going to do anyway. So I was talking to a CFO recently, really sophisticated guy. And when I say marketing, he would say PPC basically is where the conversation kept going.
Which is a pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click, yeah. And which is frustrating for me. I'm not, pay-per-click's something I'm aware of, but I don't do a lot of work in that. I would contract someone in, I would ask an expert about that if that was part of a strategy I was implementing. And my point was there that he expects marketers to show how they're contributing to revenue, basically. And I was making the point that a lot of things contribute to revenue. And one of the things that he had done was go for a tea with a TV station. And because he did that, they gave them all these free slots. So they got all this extra free advertising, which obviously contributes. It contributes to the overall revenue. If you get hundreds of thousands of dollars of, free media sent your way, that contributes. So when we're saying what marketers contribute to revenue, well, that's a factor that contributes to revenue. And we talk about this a lot, that there's a lot of factors that contribute to revenue. So I would make that point to him and he would accept that point verbally in person. 5 minutes later, but PPC, going back to this thing. And, we're getting this return on this and getting return on PPC and all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, but even that, the baggage people are bringing to the click contributes to how well your PPC campaign will do. And your PPC campaigns might be using up brand equity, exhausting brand equity.
Trying to capture demand instead of creating it, or
Well, and just cashing the check now. That and when you run out of brand equity, all of a sudden it's harder to cash that check, right? Because you haven't built equity to cash again. So sometimes it can look really good in the short term with that type of stuff. And I'm sure everyone listening understands last click attribution. You can go, oh, look, the person clicked the ad and they went to the website and they bought the product, and it's all conversions and all, like, we've got it all tracked and all that. Yeah. But what about the 2 years of brand building before that and the 50 touch points they've already had with your company to then have that ad pop up in front of them and go, yeah, actually I am ready for that now. I will do that. And then, effectively clipping the ticket right at the end of that process. So I could get him to agree to that conceptually. You've made the point on another episode about getting a wife. How do you do it? If you ask that question and someone says, I think it was Simon Sinek who said, just take them on 20 dates. That's the joke, right? Like there's this exact formula that you can just do this and you get a wife. Very much, I think it's similar to a purchase, though. It's a very complex process, especially if it's more considered purchase, but B2B. So what happens is that then you see this situation that I was in where I made a point and it was accepted verbally. And then this person 5-10 minutes later reverts to their original belief structure. So I say to marketers, when we're talking to people, understand we're dealing with a belief structure. If it's a mature person, decades, this has been decades building. Very hard to change that overnight. And, people change their mind. Like, it takes an emotional, response to change someone's mind often, as opposed to we're presenting logic in these cases. So logically it makes sense. What I'm saying makes sense. But some people just don't want to accept it. It's it's an inconvenient truth.
And I think that too of sorry, I will ask a question too. What do you think about the PPC that he was unwavering from? Like, why do you think? It's hard to know.
Yeah, no, I can answer that. I think because it's the tangibility bias. It's something you can see. And it's a cleaner,
direct answer to what he wants.
Yes. And if you go, I'm going to rearrange reality in my head, so this gives me the answer that I want. That's more convenient. Yeah. Rather than, reality is fucking complicated.
Yeah. And we tend to go back towards what we know anyway. This is where I feel the sales versus marketing go against each other a lot, because I think every marketer should do a bit of sales, as much as I'll get punished for that.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I really, really, really do. And it's the best thing I ever did for a couple of years, because for those particular situations, I look at that and I go, okay, he's got a belief, as you said, a belief system. Waiting for him to change that, like you said, decades, maybe if not ever. What you can do is that he's hardwired, and this is what I believe, this is the point, that instead of going face to face with them, align yourself to his beliefs. I think about that and I go, summarize what he's saying and just put it back on him and go, you keep bringing this back to PPC, right? What is it? So this is clearly very important to you. And exactly what you said, they might be like, it's tangible, it's what we want. And go, okay, well, that's what you want, but it's not giving you the results that you're after. So therefore, what do you think needs to happen? How do we change this? And I did some volunteering for Lifeline a while ago, and that's the whole point. Like, they had this thing, you can't change people's minds. You just cannot change them. But what you can do is help them, asking them, with everyone done active listening and prompting questions and summarizing and challenging, and you try to get them to see the other light. Because it's like, an example we use is that on those calls, you'd say to them, they say, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed. A logical person goes, well, don't feel depressed. Go for a walk in the sun. Go watch a movie. Go have fun. You tell them stuff and they will not do it. They will dig their heels in and will not do it. But if you position the questions back to them and you go okay, well, you're feeling like crap, so, clearly you don't want to feel like this, right? Yeah, he goes, well, what could you do today? Or what do you want to do? And they go, well, actually, I wouldn't mind watching my favorite show on tonight. Like, okay, cool. That sounds like fun. And then they go, well, what else do you want to do? Well, do you and I really want to feel like this. Well, what could you do tomorrow? It might be uncomfortable. What's the one thing you could do? Well, yeah, I might go do this then. And it's like you position them back to them. So they're finding their own answer.
Yeah. Okay. And so if they're answering the question too, they're almost opting into that action.
Managing up is the whole point of like, you'll float an idea to your boss 10 times and in a subtle way. And in 6 months time, they'll be like, I've got an idea. And they'll say your exact idea back to you. And it's like,
that's never happened before.
But I mean, like, but that's the whole thing. You sort of manage up and it's not bosses being bad or good. It's just like human beings will just favor their own belief system. Like, and using that exact example, I had a really good coach at the Lifeline place that used to talk about that and say, sometimes you can do everything perfect, and they just won't do it. And they'll tell you the same problem. And there was one who was like, I feel like crap. You guys are the people to make me feel better. Make me feel better. Hurry up. I called you for this reason. Don't stop asking me questions. And I almost had to explain it back to them and go, well, the way this works is that you help yourself go through it all. So I think managing up to that, I think questioning the crap out of that belief system is my approach. Like if you go, okay, you said you want PPC. Cool. Well, let's put everything else aside. Let's go PPC. You tell me what you think is the right thing with PPC. And if they're a good person, they should go, well, this is what I'm thinking. They talk about it. If they're ignorant and that end of the scale and they go, I don't care, it's your job, figure it out, make me money, then maybe that's not a place we want to be around. Yeah.
So, and I think that's what I like to say on these episodes is, you can choose to try and do something about a situation. I assess whether it's worth trying to do something about a situation. I'm just trying to give some people like you listening some validation that you're dealing with an existing belief structure. Like, let's start there. So once you're starting there with you're dealing with the belief structure, your next question is it worth trying to change that? If you were employed, that has a lot of ramifications, obviously, because you do need to walk at some point if you decide that's not for you. And we've talked about tribalism and all that on other episodes. I'm big into that, and that you want to be with your people who value you and who you're pretty aligned with. It's just a lot easier. So that's where I start with this stuff is, do you want to? If you do want to. Now I'm doing it to you, listeners. I'm like letting you opt in, like choose your own adventure. But if you do want to, you can probably kind of think about where you think they are in comparison to you. So you can see the gap. And then I think from there, it's like, okay, that gap is reasonable. I can bridge that. Then from there, I think they can take what you have just talked about then and ask those questions and use your experience to try and bridge that gap. But at least you know what you're doing then. You know the game you're playing.
Yes. And you go like, I'd say, and I agree too, I always say like a spectrum of like 1 to 10. 10 is extreme left and 1 is extreme right. And it's like, okay, if you're at 1 to a 10, it's going to be very difficult. And either you are going to have to go to a 5 and like meet them halfway, or if they're unwavering and they will just rain, hail or shine, they're going to do what they want and they're going to yell at you regardless. And exactly to your point, you're not sure if you really want to be there. But I think the biggest headbutting belief system stuff goes on is usually from a lack of understanding. The amount of times that when someone takes their biases off the table, I think I might have used it in a different episode, but Trevor Noah, the Daily Show, whatever he does now.
I don't think you have spoke about this one.
Haven't I? Okay, so here's one where he talks about, he'd say he's more left, right, in terms of politics.
Like political spectrum, yep.
Yes, so he's on that side. And then he got asked a question. They said, well, you interview a lot of, say, far-right people and people that you fundamentally disagree with. And they said, how do you get through it? What do you do? And he said, well, the beauty is I'm on a talk show. I can't just sit there and call him a dickhead. Like, I have to actually talk to him. And he said, what's kind of funny is that it forces me to push my beliefs aside and go, this is what I think.
Yeah.
And then I try to just go, let me try and understand you. Let me try and figure out why you think like this, because you're a human being like me. And he said more times than not, sometimes not so much, they're just a bit of a nutter, but he's like, sometimes I'll talk to them and I'll go through and go, actually, I see what you mean. I get it. Okay. I don't agree with it, but I get where you're coming from.
I understand it. I don't agree, but I understand.
And he says that then changes a lot of his beliefs, because he goes, okay, I haven't considered those 3 or 4 things before. Yeah. Maybe I should really reflect on that. And I think the same goes as well, because I know this at the age-old thing, right? The whole point of this episode is usually the managers and the marketers, and you go on any LinkedIn post and you'll hear it 150 times, they always headbutt each other. And I think both sides are accountable. And I think you manage your side as much as you can. If they're not willing to come to the table, then okay, maybe it's not going to work. But you need to be willing to both sides see it from each other areas. So like the whole, we always say, probabilistic, not deterministic. So helping them see that and going, well, you want to see huge growth next month. And I did this recently for another client of mine. They go, we want to triple revenue next year. I said, well, to get triple the outcome, and we have, say, a conversion rate of 20%, that means we have to do 15 times, it's like 5x, so 15 times the input. So if you're getting 5 leads now to get you 1 client and you want to see 3 clients, well, then you got to get 15 leads. And what gets us 15 leads is 10 webinars or 5 events or whatever it is. So we have to really fill the top of the funnel. And they were like, oh God, that's really expensive. I said, well, I'm not saying you can't or you can, but I'm just trying to show you the chessboard, what you have to do.
Yes.
Whereas I feel sometimes as marketers, we don't necessarily do that because it's so clear in our heads that we go, well, you're an idiot. This is what you should do. So like, but then
that might be fun, but it's not.
It's emotionally reassuring. But it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, and I might sound like a dick on these episodes sometimes, but I don't actually. Yeah, I do treat people with respect, by the way.
Yeah.
It's yes, Alex is very much the diplomat on this podcast, and I'm very much the straight down the line, and here's how it is. But, I think we need a bit of both there as well. Like we need reassurance as marketers that we do have skills and we do have expertise because, the business world will gaslight us.
Yes.
But also, yes, we have got a responsibility to... and this podcast exists because 50% of what we need to do is communicate well with stakeholders.
Correct.
So,
bit
of column A and bit of column B.
I realize, but I will say that side too is that I do that one where I educate, try my best, try to put the map out. And to that same example, I've had people like I've gone down to the right decimal point to go, this is what we have to do, and they go, I don't want to do that. And then to your point, then I go, well, I'm going to value myself. At least I know to an extent what I'm doing. I'm not going to stick around for this. Like, if I've laid you out the answer, it's like what they say, the personal trainers. Like, I feel they're very similar to the way marketing approaches. It's probabilistic. I can't control you. I can't make you eat what you need to eat. I can't make you do these things. I can help you and influence you and assist you. But if you're going to sit there and eat Maccas every morning, not get off the couch, and then blame me as to why you're gaining weight, then I'm not going to stick around. Like, that's your fault. Don't put that shit on me. So I think there's a point of that too. And like everything, there's a balance to it. But I think both sides, if you can't control them, but if you can control your side and go as far as you can and educate and help and don't break your back over it and just go, listen, I'm done. Like, I've tried my best. I'm not the right person for this. Then good luck.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect way to end the episode.
Done.
Yeah, we're done.
See
you on the next one.
See you next one.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Push Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, and if you are enjoying the episodes, please leave a review of the podcast on your platform of choice. It really helps to build the podcast credibility and to help others find this type of information.